this. We're adjusting here. We always stick it on whatever random yarn is back here,
Yeah.
and then it never is the same.
Yep. Whatever's on the table.
There we go.
The poop show behind us. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, we're a little bit late. I had a customer, which is good.
Yes.
But made us a little bit late going live. I'm Lisa,
And I'm Ashley.
and this is So Crafty with Ashley and Lisa, our little podcast channel.
Yes, it's episode 15.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yes.
We're doing really good keeping
We have been,
on schedule.
Yes.
You know. What's new?
Not much. We came back from Disney. It was fun. We did get stuck. We had like the terrible, we were stuck in the airport. We were delayed. As soon as we took off, Ethan threw up.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, all over
That's
Robert. So, yeah. And I'm like, what can I do? And he's like, nothing. I just wish we would have stayed. It was so late. And I was like, yeah, I know. So was better after that. I don't know what it was exactly, but so we did that. Back to everything. Gonna hopefully do some Easter egg hunts this weekend. We'll see.
It's supposed to be rainy.
I know.
It's not nice here.
No.
We always have to give you a weather update for those. It's rainy. It's dreary.
It's cold.
We had snow.
Yeah.
I had snow at my house. I'm sure you did. We live not too far apart.
Yeah. I looked out after I walked out of the bathroom. We have a spare bedroom, but there's nothing on the window. And I looked and I was like, oh yeah, it's like visible that you can see out there that it's not.
Yeah, I was driving here on Tuesday. It must have been Tuesday. I went to the bank and and it was a snow squall. Not that it was laying on the ground, but it was like a squall, like could barely see. And I thought, oh, Interstate 80 is going to be fun. A few hours later, I saw on, social media that it was closed. Because of a snow squall and a big 30 car pile up or 20 some car pile up. So, but other than that, I was at a knitting retreat over the weekend, which I will talk about later. It was so much fun, but I'll fill you all in on later. Hopefully some of the chubby knitters, that's what this group calls themselves. I'm an honorary member now of the Chubby Knitters and the Naughty Knitters, so I'm a chubby naughty knitter. So, and they kept calling me Lisa So Easy. They couldn't remember So Crafty. It was a thing, but it was a lot of fun. Beautiful people. Like, knitting people are just the best people.
They are.
Everybody was fun and got along, and it was fun. Looking forward to next year.
I'm gonna look into going next year.
Looking forward to next year. I'm looking into having my own. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I just need a place, and this place, some of the food was included. I'm not much of a cook.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend my whole weekend cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could all do potluck and, that kind of thing, but this was really nice because some of the meals were included, and we just walked down the hill to like the mess hall, the dining hall, and it was good. It was.
I wonder if there's a bed and breakfast in Du Bois out by Treasure Lake, and there's also one in Punxsutawney.
Okay.
Because I feel like you kind of need something like that.
Yeah, kind of. But you need like a gathering room where everybody can hang out.
Yeah.
This place was really nice. It would just be far for my customers. It was 2 hours, which isn't terrible. I would really like to find something like Benazet area.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be.
Like it's far enough, but not too far.
Yeah.
I even thought about, I have a friend that I used to cater with, and if she would like cater for us or come cook for us.
Yeah.
So I just need to find a building and then figure out everything else. So maybe knows of any, and I'm guessing 20 people. Yeah. Ish. I shared a bedroom with my friend Lori, which no big deal. Yeah. We could have had 4 people in our room. There was a double bed and 2 twin beds. So we could have had up to 4 people.
And I know for Bree does one similar to this, and it is at the Sayer Mansion down near like Bethlehem.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of them will get, like rooms there, or like some of the local hotels. And then some people, because people come from all over for some of these things, and I think it's really cool.
It is cool.
They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna stay in this one, and there's 2 beds if anyone needs somewhere. So it's nice.
And I mean, knitting people are the best people, so
And we don't really need to do anything,
It was pretty unscheduled, which was really nice. I'll show you a few things that we did do, but you didn't have to. There's no knitting police coming telling you have to do anything, but it was really nice.
You know, you can sit there, hang out, and knit, and just talk. And
No TV. There was no television. We didn't watch TV for days. We had a little, Tony would turn on her radio. Tony is Rags. She's the one who hosted this retreat, and she's lovely. So, all right, let's get on schedule. What we're doing. What we're wearing. What are you wearing?
This was a gift from my sister-in-law, Elizabeth. It was from Christmas several years ago. And it's just a nice little shawl.
It's
Kind of
really
has
pretty.
that nice.
Feels like a cottony yarn.
I would say yeah. It feels like.
I think it's a cotton yarn. I don't know what yarn
I would
it
say
is.
I haven't. Yeah.
She lives in New York State, so
Yeah. So she gets all kinds of stuff, but this was several years ago.
It's beautiful.
Gave me it, so I found
beautiful.
it the other day, and I'm like, oh.
And I am wearing, it's a vest. It's called the Stockholm Slipover by Petite Knit. I held together Nettle Soft, which is kind of a fingering, could almost push to a DK, and mohair. And it's just pinks and greens, and it's just I've made 2 of these. I really like the shape of it. I've made 2 of the same pattern, and it was, easy peasy, quick. Vests are so fast because there's no sleeves.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a bigger gauge, but the mohair kind of fills in, so it isn't like wholly gapey.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a pretty low V.
Yeah.
It's a pretty substantial, I could never wear it without, which I wouldn't anyhow, but people that want like a V-neck sweater, this isn't it. This is definitely a vest that you wear something underneath. So that's what we're wearing. So finished objects. Do you have anything
I
finished?
do not have anything
do.
finished.
Okay, so back to the retreat. This is hysterical. Friday night we did a tiny chicken class, and I mean tiny.
That is adorable.
So I don't know if you
it
can.
has a little beak.
It has a little beak. It has little wings. It has little feet. The only thing mine is missing is eyes, and I kept trying to put them on. This is where I mess everything up, is like the finishing, the last little detail. Couldn't get the eyes right, and you really couldn't see them. I used Wowza, which is Tony, my friend from Rags, yarn. I called it my funky chicken. I don't think it looks awful with no eyes.
No.
So.
And I think where the striping fell too is probably why you couldn't see it, because it's in a darker spot there.
Yeah. I kept putting eyes on and ripping them back out. It was super fun. It's funny though, a lot of the people were doing them on double points. I don't use double points. I don't own double points. I don't.
I have one pair I got, they're size 8, because that was what my cozy memory blanket squares were. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be easier. And
no. So they were all, and I magic loop. I took a circular needle, and the girl that was helping teach came around. She's like, I'm not sure you can do that on magic loop. I was like, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I think it was much easier. So anyhow, tiny chicken.
That's cute.
But it's finished. My other finished object are the color palette socks. Now these have not been blocked. These have not been, you can see my laddering that will go away when I block them. But I am making kits.
Look how stinking cute these are. They're in little takeout containers. It reminds me of, I feel like Summerly or someone has like a cake pattern or something, and
Maybe.
that would be like a really good presentation for that. But.
So what I'm doing is making kits. Like you get 50 grams of the main color, 20 grams of each contrast color, but I wanted to knit a pair first so I knew how much yarn to include, so you weren't, running short, and you didn't have to buy 7 skeins of yarn. So you don't have to buy 7 skeins of yarn. And I have them here, and I will have them at Frederick Fiber Festival, which is April 26th. So those are finished. They need blocked, but they're finished. So someone just came in. I'm going to let Ashley talk about whips, and I'll be right back with you.
So I have 3 whips. I have been working on my test knit. This is going to be the Bay Day Tank by Brie of the Little Wolf Knits.
I'll be back.
So it's going to be a little scoop neck. There's going to be some ribbing. I am to the waist decreases now. I actually just had a knit night with her last night, which was super fun. And we were talking because she actually has several tests out right now. And it was kind of cool to talk and see we were talking as she was going. There was something in the measurements that we thought were maybe a little off, and then looking back, she realized that they were a little off. But we were worried about, oh, I'm gonna have to rip all this out. But if it ends up being not fitting how I want it to. But then we were looking, and Natalie from Nitty Natty has been doing pants, and it's been this like whole saga of she keeps doing, like, she did one thing, she didn't like it, then she missed an increase or decrease in the legs. So instead of frogging all of that, she, put needles above and below, cut out a row, and then added what she needed or just subtracted what she needed, and then just kitchenered them on. So that was really interesting, and I kind of never think of that to kind of do like surgery on your knits. And really, since it's all just stockinette, and as long as it's not on an increase or decrease area, just kind of Kitchener them, and once you block them, you really couldn't notice any difference.
So pretty.
I know, I love this.
I love
have
the,
enough that I actually I have 4 skeins because I was gonna make a different top with this, but I now may make my sister one because she actually said she likes the yarn and thought the shirt was nice. So that's kind of it in skein form. Let me find.
I'm gonna run out again. Sorry, I just heard the door again.
Oops. Let's see here. Do I have it? I know I brought it last time, but right now it's on size 5 needles. I'm currently using my Chowgu, the blue set. And this is Falling Leaf Fibers, and the colorway is Changing Tides. I bought this on Etsy. I did recently look, and she still does sell. She is still dyeing yarn. So it's an 85-15 superwash merino nylon. I just broke into my second skein of this. I did try something new. I helically knit for the last probably 5 grams of the first skein, which was something that I kind of have never done before, just to see how. I didn't want a big stark change, but looking, there was not really a lot of color difference in the between the skeins. So I think I would have been fine just to knit it and then start the new one. But like I said, I did do about the last maybe 5 grams or so. I did helically knit with it. And I actually made out really good. I was worried I was playing yarn chicken, but I have this much left of that first skein, and I didn't think I would get around another time. So I have some decreases left to go on this, and then we will start. There's kind of like a scoop neck. I believe the test is due April 21st. I'm just picking up these stitches. So the test is due, and I think it's gonna come out in June, if I remember correctly. So that is my first work in progress. I lost stitch marker, but we'll figure that out. Let me see here. I only have really one other real one, and then one that I started playing around with. That will definitely have more to come next one. But these were my socks I took to Disney. So this was the yarn, and I am loving how they worked up. So we have, I just hit back into the repeat. So these are just toe-up vanilla socks. I know I'm gonna have way more yarn than I'm going to need to do just one. Like, I'm not gonna use an entire 50 grams in one sock. I'm debating, now that we're back and I didn't get to the mark of, I said if I was gonna go past where I would need to start increasing for a foot and a heel flap and gusset, I maybe would have just done an afterthought heel, but I'm kind of interested in learning how to do a toe up with heel flap and gusset, so I may do that. Just kind of gonna see how I feel, or if I get in this, knitting, if I have some extended period of time and I just keep knitting and knitting, I'll just do the afterthought heel. This was a leftover from my I called them my other Disney socks. They kind of reminded me of Ariel. So that I just used for heel, toes, and cuffs last time. I'm going to use it for toes and cuffs again because I have a lot of yarn left. But I'm using my Addy red minis and US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. I believe this is the smallest cord that I have now. So that is what I've been working on over the last 2 weeks mostly. Not sure how many whips Lisa has today. We didn't talk too much about it. Next though, I do have one other thing that I kind of started playing around with, and I'm kind of doing my own thing in preparation for yarn that I have that will be coming. And this is just a random kind of color changing yarn. There's some green, there's some gray, and this blue. I picked it up. I should have been doing other things yesterday, but I picked it up and decided I wanted to kind of design my own. So this is going to be, I haven't decided exactly my end shape goal. If I want it to be something that's going to be kind of pointed and then go straight for a while, or if I want kind of a more narrow than this kind of triangle shawl. But this is the start of it. The yarn I have coming is worsted weight, and this is more of like a bulky. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than what I am kind of end goal is going to be, but just to kind of get the stitches and get the look at first. So this is what kind of right now, just triangular. I think like I said, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. It has a little bit of yarn overs on the side here, but just kind of doing my own thing for now. We'll see what it ends up looking like. But I have a special yarn that we'll talk about next time when that comes. And these, like I said, are bulky, much larger. I'm using a US 11, but I'll probably change to something smaller whenever we go down to the intended yarn. Let's see here. I'm trying to think what else is. We have someone watching. Let me just look here. Sorry, I was just looking to see who was watching, but if you want to drop a comment below who you are and where you're watching from. And let's see, Lisa's just helping. So we had some customers come in today, so she's been kind of busy with that. Let me see here. Those are my 3 whips right now that I've been working on. I have been neglecting dice roll because I've been trying to get my test knit done. So that was number 1 this week. So that's been super fun though, seeing people finish items with their dice rolls or getting closer to finishing items. Let's see here. The other thing I have kind of coming, and I've been stalking the UPS or the Postal Service website for, is I got some money for my birthday recently and put that towards a e-spinner. So I bought the EEW 6.1. So that comes from Dreaming Robots, and it originally was supposed to be here on Saturday, but I got the thing today saying that it was going to be here later today. So I'm excited about that. So hopefully I have some spinning for you next week. In preparation of that though, I was looking through Lisa's and have found this. So this is from Sweet Georgia. It's a 100% Tarhi, and the color is Throwback, but it is colors there. It has some darker like purple, maroons, some kind of like plum colors in here. So I'm going to use this as my first spin with my new wheel and start with that just because I do have the other fiber that I got at Fluff, but I didn't want to start off with that. I was worried if I started off with that just to kind of get the initial feel of it and how spinning on the e-wheel compared to the manual wheel was going to be. So this will hopefully be started to be spun here in the next day or so. And we'll see what it looks like then. So that'll be hopefully what next time. Let's see here, what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else coming up. We talked a little bit about the PA fiber sheep and wool. That's coming up in October at the Dayton Fairgrounds. So that'll be a fun event. It's the first annual one. So a lot of good fiber artists. I think they're going to do a sheep and wool sale or a sheep to shawl that I saw. Just trying to look to see if there's anything. I know Lisa and some other customers are they're calling it their Dayton sweater, kind of like people make Rhinebeck sweaters. So she'll talk more about that. Let me see here. I'm just looking down Lisa's show notes here to see. She's just checking someone out, so she'll be back here in a few minutes. Let's see here. I think that's all for that. Let's see. Trying to think what else is coming on. I can talk a little bit about life too while she's waiting. So we came back from Disney. I did get this is my Disney cup. So we had that. Disney was good. We did have a pretty long delay. It was like 3 hours. Pilots were timing out, crew were timing out, so they were having to find new pilots, they were having to find new crew members, trying to switch planes around. Our plane had left, I believe it had left Orlando, went to an airport in Long Island, and then was coming back, and then we were going to Pittsburgh. Well, it got stuck up in Long Island, and then the pilots timed out, so they had to find new crew for that. There was a big band of storms coming through, so there was nothing in Orlando, but it was something that they didn't want to fly through. We did have a little bit of a rough ride back also. Ran into some weather, ran into a lot of turbulence, and then also Ethan got sick, so that was not fun either. But I did get a lot of airport knitting time, so that was kind of nice. And then I got some time to just while we were waiting and then while we were flying. So I did work a good bit while we were in Disney on my Beta tank. Actually, I have a video or a picture on Instagram where I was working on it. We were riding the train around Disney at Magic Kingdom, and I got a picture of it with the train station, and you can kind of see the castle in the background. So that was something, so we just rode that around, did a whole loop, and then we wanted to go somewhere else, so we kind of used that as transportation instead of walking through the park. We rode that around to the next stop and then got off to go where we wanted to go. So it was kind of nice just to relax, you get a little bit of a breeze. It was very hot. It was 80 degrees plus most days. We had one little spell of rain, which it's Florida, that happens. Wasn't anything too odd and crazy there. But that was good. Came back. It's been crappy weather here, like we said earlier. Lisa, unfortunately, since we got back, we didn't get back until 8 a.m. And Lisa had her 10-year anniversary that day, and we were exhausted. It was 8 a.m. I was tired. My son had slept on and off, but not great, and we were kind of worried, was he gonna get sick and throw up again? And so we basically just laid at home and slept all day. I was like, yeah, I cannot go into work. We just got home. Like, I should have been at work whenever we pulled in the driveway. So we just kind of hung out and tried to rest and recuperate. And I feel like it's been definitely a long week to try and get back into that. Trying to think what else we have going on. Tonight is crochet night. So learn to crochet, can come into Lisa's, I believe it's 6 to 8. $10 for the class and then supplies. They've been making headbands, they've been making scarves, I think. I'm trying to think what else. I'm trying to look because she has a pile of things over there. Scarves and headbands, I think, have been the big ones. A lot of people are finishing some things. Going from there.
I'm back, but someone else is coming in the door.
Oh, she's
Today's not my day.
No.
There was like literally no one here all morning.
Yeah, and there's
So-
been like 4 people since I've been here, so.
But that's how we go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk quickly. Okay, whips.
I
Did you
went
go
through all of mine.
Okay.
I was rambling and ran out of things
Okay,
to talk
so
about, so yeah, you're good.
we are doing the Dayton sweater. Calling it the Dayton sweater because the Pennsylvania Sheep and Wool Festival is going to be in Dayton, PA. So it's kind of like our Rhinebeck sweater. It is a cabled sweater.
You're making good progress.
I am, and I did not work on it for a while because this was not social knitting
Mm-hmm.
for me. Some people can do this socially, but it's a cabled cardigan. There's a few mistakes. Don't look super close, but you know it's fine.
I love your stitch toppers.
I know they're
They're
little
little
coffees. I am using a GN tweed, which is a woolly wool. I wanted a brighter color-ish. Some folks are using Kelborn Woolen Scout, and some are using Patagonia by Juniper Moon. So our hope is to have, there's probably 7 or 8 of us doing it. Oh, and it's in my Delaque makers, which they're all gone. I may reorder at some point, but you know,
Yeah.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. It's my go-to bag now. Other whips. So for knitting class, which is every other Thursday, I started well, I can show you a finished one. It's called the Wrap Me Up shawl or scarf. So what it is a whole bunch of different knitting patterns.
That's nice.
It's fun. So like week 1, which I have a lady doing it with me, is this mitered square block. Then what you end up doing is picking up stitches and just moving out. So this is my week 1, because I'm kind of knitting it with her, but I love making it. I've made 2 so far. I am using scraps,
Tony's yarn.
Tony's yarn. I've made a gnome, I've made a chicken, and now I'm making a shawl. So this is my mitered square block, you know, minus, don't look at the ends, but it's fun. So then like block 2 is a double moss stitch section. So you pick up stitches and just keep going. So there's no sewing together. It's
That's
all
nice.
picking up stitches and just kind of building it.
And that's a nice way, especially if, you know, if you want to try a bunch of different ways or different stitches, you can, you know, get a good bit of stitches with
And
it.
people can learn a lot. You know, after you're doing this, you know all kinds of different stitches. And it's called the Wrap Me Up by Chris DeLongpre, Longpre. It's not a new pattern. It's an older pattern. And I'm using my zings, and I'm using a size 2.5.
And I know that other one, you had some different yarns too, so you'd be a good scrap buster. I saw you had there's some like sparkle in there or something
Yeah.
too.
So I will just be going through my scrap basket and doing this one, but this one will be brights, where my other one was pastels. Next one is my dice roll for this week. And this is what I worked on over the weekend at the retreat. It's potato chip knitting. It's easy. It is called the Curio but it's spelled weird. Cuero. Curo pattern. It is on Ravelry, and it is, yeah, I made quite a bit of progress.
Yeah.
This is also Ancient Arts yarn and Heritage. So the purple is Ancient Arts Nettle Soft, and the yellow is Heritage Sock. Any two sock yarns. I think you just need a decent amount of contrast, so that you see your stripes. I mean, I guess you could do low contrast, but these are mine. These are mine.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah. So that was my dice roll. Last night I rolled number 1. So any of you that are
Now-
playing along,
Now you worked on this once already, right?
I did.
Okay. Was that whenever you finished something?
I
you
finished
added it?
something
Okay.
and went to this. Only because I really want it done. I think it'll be a good sample for shows.
Oh yeah.
Because you can put any two yarns together. So yes, I finished something, worked on this, which is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought, oh, I'm going to plug something new in. I'm like, you never get anything done.
Yeah.
So if I finish my dice roll for the week, I go to something else.
Okay.
Or my Dayton sweater.
Yeah.
Like, I can always do it, which
you-
I did plug it in. I plugged it in a number, but
And you said you're gonna try and keep like Fridays or a day to kind of work on it mostly.
yeah, my Friday group ladies, most of them are doing it. So I will work on it. My belly is growling. Anyhow, so my next whip is a crocheted bag. I know it's wonky to look at, but it's like a market bag.
Yep.
Tonight is my crochet night.
I talked about that. And I didn't know what else. was-
Yeah, so this is what I'm kind of highlighting. It's a free pattern, color block market bag. I'm never sure if things are backwards or
I know. I think.
if you're seeing them backwards or not, but it's the color block market bag. So I'm using 2 colors and I'm using like flax yarn. So it's gonna be tough, but it will soften up. It feels pretty rough right now, but I'm probably halfway
Now,
through.
are you holding those together or
Mm-mm.
okay
No, I'm gonna switch to this
for the
top
Okay.
part. Just one strand. This is my first skein. I have 2 that I wound up. But yeah, I still am on my first skein, which I may just do 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
1 skein of this, 1 skein of this, and see where we get. So, and I am using my Zing hooks, which are my favorites, in a size H. And I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to work on for crochet class tonight. What else do I have? Get those out of my way. I think that's it. One other thing I wanted to mention, on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, I have a group that's coming and we're focusing on charity projects. Like I'm going to be donating yarn, skeins of yarn that the band falls off of or whatever. So I have been cranking hats on my Addy knitting machine. They are like double, you make a big tube, kind of like the Musselburgh, but it's done on a machine.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all going to be donated to the chemo bag project.
Okay.
It's friends of mine that everybody that starts chemo gets this little care bag with a blanket and some snacks and a bottle of water and tissues and and they like to put a hat in for everyone. So I am going to be donating all of these to the chemo care. So that's what I've been working on. Isn't that one cute?
That is cute.
I've been working on these, and some of my customers also have donated hats that they've made. I have this one. So if you like making hats, you don't have anyone to give them to, bring them in. I will get them delivered.
I know that the pink one was mine, and I did that. We did that at a like
Craft
club
club?
or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's not something that I would wear, but it was fun,
Mhm.
fun to knit. So
And some of the other ladies, sorry to turn my back, but some of the other ladies, and I'm going to talk to Ashley about this a little bit. We came up with the idea of making loveys.
oh,
And what we would like to do is get them in the hands of ambulance or
Oh, yeah.
policemen.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's a child
Mm-hmm.
that is, in need or needs some comfort,
Yeah.
these can be given on the spot.
And we do that. I know every once in a while they'll donate like the little felt blankets and then like some different things. There's my Aunt Sandy's does it at one of the churches. They do like whenever someone has a baby in the church, they give a blanket, but then they did donate some blankets also and some other animals.
So we're gonna give these locally
Yeah.
to ambulance or police,
even
and they're like a little granny square
yeah,
with there's two. They have two completed. They're so cute.
they are.
Look
Something
how cute this one is with the flopsy ears.
that is so cute.
Yeah. So a child in need can have this, on the spot. So we'll
And
be,
I know that is something we do in our ambulances. I think there's like one or two. They have them in like little bags and they put them and then they can give them. If,
so yeah, we'll be giving them to you.
Also, sometimes the ERs will take them and put them with like their Jared boxes too. I know we would get donations when I worked in the ER every once in a while.
So that's what we've been working on. So if anybody has the inclination or wants to donate yarn, like if you have yarn that's laying around, even if it's scraps, we can make something out of it, and we'll be donating all of that. So that's what we've been doing. And then the last thing I need to talk about is acquisitions from my weekend.
Yes.
Do you have any acquisitions?
I showed this,
Oh,
my fiber.
okay,
I already
okay.
showed that though.
All right, so I'll just keep talking. I feel like I'm
rambled a
ignoring
while and-
Ashley.
I rambled a while.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I
It's okay.
apologize, but gotta keep business in here.
Oh yeah.
So over the weekend, first of all, Tony got us each a like crossbody bag.
Those are super cute.
Aren't they cute? Chubby Knitters 2025 camp. So it is super nice, and she is super generous, and aren't they cute? So you'll probably see me wearing these at shows. Like it's good to like keep my money in and like, and it's really eye catching.
Yeah.
So that was a gift from Tony to everyone that went. And then Chicken Knits gave us each a little mini skein of yarn. Aren't those cute?
They are.
Um,
That would go really well with your Curo. Like those have similar colors.
and then I had made everybody, I'm gonna try to not get one that's not falling apart. Anyhow, I had leftover quilts, like Sue had given me old pieces of her quilt. So I made everyone a little Easter egg and put a couple pieces of candy in it. But then I thought it would be good for scissors and needles.
Oh yeah.
Like in your notions pouch, you could use it like as a needle minder or stick your little, embroidery scissors in there.
Yeah.
So I gave everyone one of those. And then we were each asked to dye yarn just for the retreat. Now I ended up coming home with some, but this is what I came up with. And I just called it Retreat 2025. But it's kind of like, I did an inspiration picture and it was like tulips, kind of like a field of tulips, and it was pinks and greens and then of course I bought one of everyone else's yarns because that's what you do. Support your friends. So this was the Yarn Smiths. Isn't it beautiful?
That is.
She has such a good eye for color.
Oh yeah.
And it's called Happy Place because she said knitting camp is her happy place.
I love her names. Whenever we were at Floff, I was looking through them, and the names of her yarn are super cute.
This is Sherilyn's String Weaving. She's been, I don't know, she goes to rags festivals.
I've never heard of her.
Maybe Harmony. Well, I might see her at Harmony. It doesn't have a name, but it's 7525 merino nylon. It's beautiful. Oh, it says 2025 Chubby Knitters Laurelville Retreat. We were at the Laurelville Retreat Center, and it was very, very nice. This is my friend Rebecca's Dusty Tree Dye Works. She does soaps and dyes her own yarns, and it's Chubby Knitters Camp 2025, and it's kind of blowing out a little bit, but it's browns, and she's really does like good like earth tones.
Yes.
Like really, that's kind of her vibe, and she should stick with it. Like,
Yeah.
And this was Chicken Knits.
I love. They're always the like bright and vibrant. That's actually the kind of special yarn I have coming
Yeah.
to do that design. So,
It is called Crocus, and this is an assigned pulling yarn.
ooh.
I know. She wanted to try assigned pulling, so she thought this is a perfect time to,
Yeah.
experiment. She was knitting a shawl in it at the retreat, and it's turning out beautiful. So, of course, I bought one of everybody's yarns because that's what you do. You support your friends.
Yes, I have that assigned pulling from Rags, so whenever that's gonna go in my, I think, numbers after I'm done with this test.
Yeah, I've done assigned pulling with her yarn, and it's gorgeous. And I don't have any clue how to dye that. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So, I think that, I have one more acquisition. And this isn't a purchase.
Ooh,
One of my customers brought this for me.
that is
And
so
she
pretty.
said it's like a European knitting basket. So she wove it. You can't see, but it sits like this. It sits on this. It doesn't sit flat.
Mm-hmm.
It sits either at an angle this way or an angle this way, and then you knit out of it like a yarn bowl.
It reminds me of almost like the pumpkin baby carriers. Like it's that kind of
Mhm.
shape to it.
But isn't it beautiful? Like it almost looks like a quilt motif there.
Yeah, and it's like very Eastery colors.
Uh-huh. It's gorgeous. Thank you, Sharon. I love it. Yeah, so it's
Is-
like a little knitting basket.
Is she who did our class? Or is that someone else?
Sharon, no, that
No.
was Sandy. This is
Okay.
Sharon Aaron.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what she might have come to that you would have.
Hmm.
I don't know. She's a retired art teacher, and so she does all the things.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you in my whips group?
Yes.
She just did the Hershey
Oh,
glasses case that
okay.
she said is literally like 30 years old. She said it was probably at least 30 years old and had been languishing, and she's getting so much done.
Yeah.
She's working on that red, white, and blue quilt,
Okay.
and I think whenever she finishes something, she goes back to the red, white, and blue quilt.
Yeah.
And then in her free time, she, just wove a basket for me.
It's beautiful.
I know, I love it.
I think that, I love the idea of this whip go, and then it's fun because it's not all yarn. Like, I've been seeing
No.
cross stitch, I've been seeing quilting.
Paint by number.
Yeah.
Somebody was doing paint by number. I don't care.
Did someone do the scratch off, like it's black and there's like colors behind it? I think I saw that somewhere. Maybe not on that group.
I don't
but
know. I don't remember that. It was like paint by number.
Yeah, just things
was-
that you have.
Whatever you want to work on that brings you joy.
Hmm. And it's nice because it gives you that little bit of push to work on that, where you get that decision fatigue when you have so many things to work on.
And you only have to work on it for a week.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's a huge project, you can work on it for a week and then
And then
put it
one
back
day.
in timeout and come back to it later.
Yeah.
And if you're like I'm doing, I'm trying to finish the dice roll for the week, and then I hop onto something else that's also on my list.
Yeah, I think I'm
And-
going to redo my list and kind of rearrange some things because I did finish some things and I have some new ones that I want to put on there.
And I kind of started plugging in, this is my list. I have finished a number of things, but I'm plugging in, like my Dayton sweater got plugged in number 13. I finished whatever that was, plugged the Dayton sweater in. And some of them I am going to start, if I finish, I'm going to double up
Mm-hmm.
just to get a couple more things done.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have a wish list,
Yeah.
but I do.
Especially like your bigger, like your Dayton or things like that, or your it's down here, the patchwork.
Yeah, that heritage, it's on here.
Yeah.
Heirloom cardigan. Someone was working on that at the retreat. That was the other thing about the retreat. There were, I think, 4 of us there that own yarn shops.
Mhm.
So it was so nice to like sit and say, like, what are you doing at your shop? Like, what sells for you? What classes are you doing? It's just so fun to have a community, and it's not a competitive community.
No.
Like some businesses are like cutthroat and like, everything's top secret, and it's just not like that.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just, we want us to all stay open. Like the more of us there are, the better it is for everyone. So it's really fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to next year
I would.
very much.
I definitely would want to come next year. I think.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's not real, there's not a lot of organized,
Mm-hmm.
meal times are kind of organized. Like, hey, we're going down at, 6:30 or whatever.
Yeah, just
But-
kind of, but nothing too.
Yeah, I know
crazy.
some people, like, they didn't go down to breakfast. They didn't care for what was for breakfast, so they just didn't go.
Yeah.
Okay. No big deal. We had enough snacks that you could have easily skipped a meal and been okay.
Yeah.
So,
Fun.
but I think that's about it. I did look at my the calendar. I think we should be podcasting again right before Frederick.
Okay.
I think. My phone just flew. My next show is Frederick, and it's the 26th of April.
Yes.
So if we're able to stay on track, we will be podcasting the 24th. And then I'm leaving the 25th to, I'm going to go down Friday morning, get set up, hang out, and then Frederick's a one-day show. It's at the Frederick, I don't know. But anyhow, Frederick Fairgrounds, Frederick, I can get you more information if you want to know. But it's only a one-day show.
Okay.
So then I'll be driving home Saturday night. One other thing I wanted to mention, I have a friend that's in the hospital, and I know she watches us, so I'm thinking about you, and get better real soon. I'm not going to say names, but you know who you are. I love you. All right, take care of yourselves.
Yes. Happy knitting.
Happy
and
crafting.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.